Former German Olympic biathlon champion Laura Dahlmeier was confirmed dead on Wednesday, just 2 days after a tragic rockslide engulfed her high in the rugged, unforgiving mountains of northern Pakistan. It was a moment that shook not only the world of winter sports, but also the global mountaineering community that had come to admire her passion and commitment to the outdoors. Her death, confirmed after a prolonged and grueling rescue operation that was hampered by extreme weather conditions, sent waves of sorrow across Germany and beyond. Laura, only 31 years old, was attempting to summit Layla Peak, a dramatic and visually arresting mountain standing at 6,069 meters, or nearly 20,000 feet above sea level. It is one of the most iconic, yet lesser-known peaks of the Karakoram Range, a jagged wilderness of snow and rock that attracts climbers from all over the world, but has also claimed many lives due to its remote location and volatile conditions. On Monday, as she and her climbing partner Marina Eva pressed upward toward the summit, disaster struck at around 5,700 meters, nearly 18,700 feet into the sky. Without warning, a rock slide came roaring down the steep slopes above them, likely triggered by melting ice, recent rains, or simply the unpredictable nature of the high-altitude terrain. Dahlmeier was hit directly by the rockfall, reportedly, swept off her position and critically injured in the process. Her partner Marina, though shaken and unable to reach Laura due to the treacherous conditions, was miraculously unscathed enough to send out a distress signal. Stranded high on the mountain with the knowledge that her close friend and climbing partner was injured and possibly dying above her, Marina was forced to begin the heart-wrenching descent to base camp alone. It was a descent that would take her more than a day, navigating unstable terrain, unpredictable weather, and the weight of uncertainty. Rescue efforts were immediately coordinated, but the region's notoriously fickle weather played its part in sealing Laura's fate. Helicopters from the Pakistani military were scrambled but grounded soon after, due to dangerously low visibility, coupled with persistent rainfall and fierce winds. The mountains refused to cooperate. It was as if the elements themselves conspired against the urgency of the mission. Laura, injured and likely immobile, was trapped on the mountain, inaccessible and alone. For many who knew her, the thought of such a fierce spirit being helpless in the very environment she loved was too painful to contemplate. Still, hope remained. Stories of injured climbers surviving in brutal conditions with limited oxygen and resources are not unheard of. It was this hope that kept the rescue teams moving forward. On Wednesday morning, a glimmer of possibility broke through the gloom. A joint rescue mission consisting of 6 climbers, 3 Americans, 1 German, and 2 experienced local porters trained for extreme high-altitude operations, ascended in hopes of reaching Laura. It was a daring, dangerous mission carried out in incredibly harsh conditions. The Alpine Club of Pakistan's Vice President Qarar Haidari, speaking to DW at the time, acknowledged the uncertainty of the mission's success. He estimated her chances of survival were 50-50, a coin toss really against the mountain's unforgiving hand. And yet, there was optimism. Climbers had survived worse. Laura, known for her grit and endurance, might have been holding on, but as hours passed and the window for survival grew narrower, the reality started to settle in. Later that afternoon, news agencies DPA and SID received confirmation from Laura's management. She was gone. No longer among the living, her body now part of the vast, icy wilderness that had so deeply inspired her. The world lost more than an athlete. It lost a fearless adventurer, a passionate soul who had redefined herself multiple times over, a woman who had conquered the world of biathlon and then chosen to challenge the mountains on her own terms. Laura's legacy in the sport of biathlon is unparalleled. She rose to international fame with a spirit that was equal parts tenacity and humility. At the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, she achieved what many can only dream of: 2 Olympic gold medals. The world watched in awe as she combined skiing prowess and shooting accuracy under pressure, displaying a mastery of physical and mental discipline. Her performance not only brought glory to Germany, but inspired a new generation of winter athletes. She would go on to collect a staggering total of 7 world championship titles, solidifying her status as one of the most decorated and dominant German biathletes in history. Her athletic career was distinguished not only by her medals and accolades, but also by the grace and discipline with which she conducted herself. It wasn't just the trophies that earned her admiration. It was the way she carried herself in victory and defeat. In 2017, she was named German Athlete of the Year, a testament to her influence not just within biathlon but across the entire German sporting landscape. Yet, despite the limelight and the accolades, Laura was never content with simply being a public figure. She had deeper aspirations and perhaps a longing for solitude, discovery, and communion with nature that only the mountains could fulfill. In a move that shocked the sports world, Laura retired from professional biathlon in May 2019 at the age of just 25. Most believed she had many more years of competition ahead. But for Laura, it wasn't about how long she could win. It was about where her heart truly belonged. She redirected her energy toward the mountains, becoming a mountain climbing and ski instructor in her hometown of Garmisch-Partenkirchen, nestled in the Bavarian Alps. It was there that she began the next chapter of her life, one far from stadiums and press conferences, and closer to the wild rhythms of the alpine environment she had always loved. Her passion for mountaineering was not just a post-retirement hobby, it was a calling. Laura trained rigorously and methodically, applying the same discipline that once brought her Olympic glory to her climbs. She didn't seek attention for her feats. There were no extravagant sponsorships or media campaigns following her into the mountains. She climbed because she loved it, because she felt alive there, in a way no podium could replicate. Her expeditions grew increasingly challenging over time, evidence of her growing confidence and capability in high-altitude environments. In 2023, Laura successfully climbed Korzhenevskaya Peak in Tajikistan, an intimidating 7,100-meter mountain that demands not only technical climbing skills but also peak physical conditioning and resilience. It was a notable achievement, especially for someone still relatively new to high-altitude mountaineering. In 2024, she set a new women's record time during her ascent of Amadablam in Nepal, a stunning 6,800-meter peak known for its beauty and danger in equal measure. These climbs weren't casual adventures. They were meticulously planned and executed missions, demonstrating her seriousness and skill. By the summer of 2025, Laura found herself in northern Pakistan, accompanied by friends and fellow climbers, drawn once again by the siren song of the mountains. She had been in the region since the end of June, steadily acclimatizing and preparing for one of her most ambitious climbing seasons yet. Her team confirmed that she had successfully summited the Great Trango Tower, a formidable 6,200-meter granite spire, on July 8th. That ascent alone is the kind of feat that would define an elite climber's year. Yet Laura saw it as another step in a larger journey. She was described by her management as experienced and risk-aware, someone who respected the power of nature and never took unnecessary risks. And yet, no amount of experience or preparation can ever fully protect against the inherent dangers of the high mountains. Rock slides are sudden, brutal, and often lethal. In the thin air above 5,000 meters, even the smallest injury can become fatal. The mountains give generously to those who seek beauty, challenge, and solitude, but they also demand respect. And sometimes they take without warning. For Laura, the price of that passion was her life. As news of her death spread, tributes poured in from across the globe. Fellow athletes, fans, mountaineers, and admirers remembered her not just for her athletic accomplishments, but for her courage, her humility, and the adventurous spirit that guided her life choices. She had refused to be confined to one identity. She was not just an Olympian, not just a champion, but a seeker, of heights, of silence, of something greater than applause.